Welcome on in to the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. Today, me and George, I'm Sami, he's George, are going to start with, as always, our guessing game, trying to give some examples and whatever, make them guess a player, a thing, a person in Seattle sports before we get into the podcast. Today, we will talk about the Seahawks jerseys, and we'll talk about the game against the Raiders, and we'll talk about the next game against the Rams. But we're starting with this, George, which is the guessing game. And who do you want to go first?
I guess I'll give you the hints first.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So, former Seattle Supersonic player.
Ray Allen.
No.
Okay.
I'll give you better. Seattle Supersonics 1990s player.
1990. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with was he good?
Yes.
Okay. Was he an all-star?
He has been an all-star in his career.
Was it Vin Baker?
It's not Vin Baker.
Okay. Was he even 90s or was he like 2001?
No. He was in the 90s. He only played 1 year in the 2000s.
Okay. Skin color.
White.
Deathless shrimp.
It is definitely shrimp.
I knew that one would work. If it was black, it'd be a little harder. White, I'm like, okay. Deathless shrimp.
Yeah. I'm going international. I did that on our other podcast. I went to Kembe Mutombo. I'm just going international people today.
International. All right, fair game. Oh yeah, where is Deathless from?
Germany.
Yeah, that's where it was. He lives in Bellevue now, like full time.
Yeah. He's German.
All right, I'm gonna give you a college drafted last team, the Seahawks.
All right.
College, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
All right.
Drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and he finalized his career, his last games with the Seattle Seahawks.
Was it Eddie Lacy?
Fuck.
Right, he played for Alabama, right?
Yeah, it was Eddie Lacy.
Okay, that was pretty good.
That was quick. All right.
God, I wish I knew some more important stuff in life.
My goodness. Well, thanks, I guess, for playing the game, guys. And we'll get into the real podcast now. This is the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. As always, you can find us everywhere at SONT Seattle, SONT Seattle on all platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, Facebook, wherever you want to find us. You can find me everywhere at Sami on Tap, SAMI on Tap. And you can introduce yours, George.
I'm George. You can find me everywhere at George, spelled how you think it would be, on tap.
Spelled the correct way, unlike Sami. We are two brothers, and we're out here just talking Seattle sports because that's what we love. So let's get into this, George. What's our first question?
All right, Sami. We're going to start off today on a hot note, better note, because after a loss, let's not get too somber here. Let's talk about the big news that the Seattle Seahawks are releasing their retro jerseys next season with the retro helmets, one of the coolest combinations ever in Seattle sports. So it made me think, let's do a draft. Let's draft our 5 favorite each. Do you want to let's do snake draft again? Snake draft 5 favorite jerseys in Seattle sports history.
And for those that don't know what a snake draft is, if for some reason you're not in like fantasy football, that means like if I'm the first pick, George gets pick 2, 3, then I get 4, 5, and then on and on.
I get 5, 6. Yeah. It's on and on. All right, let's do it again. Flip a coin.
You got a coin. Heads, tails. You can hear the coin.
I'm going tails. Why, Sami?
It never fails.
Exactly.
And once again, it does not fail. Tails it is. You get first pick.
All right. With my first pick in the 2022 Seattle Sports Jersey Draft, I select the Seattle Seahawks retro jerseys, the blue ones.
Good pick. It's a good pick. The blue retro with the silver helmets one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good pick, George. That's a good pick. That's definitely in my top 5. So I can't really can't say much about it. Like can't argue it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the Seattle Mariner teal.
God, that was my second one. I was hoping it would just fly under the radar.
The Seattle Mariner teal jersey is by far the best Mariners jersey. We do have nice, like classic old ones, but there's nothing that beats the teal.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I was hoping that would fly under the radar.
No, sir. Oh, I get another one.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna take the Seattle Mariners Back to the Future
God damn it, man. Honestly, I was holding that one for my last pick
Oh
because I
no,
didn't
that's
even think you were gonna think about that shit.
not even. I wasn't even gonna let it pass the second pick for me. The Back to the Future, the fucking giant baseball trident with the
Oh, I'm
sleeveless.
so
Remember when
fucked
Nelson
right
Cruz
now.
was wearing them?
Yes, I do. I'm so fucked right
I'm
now.
winning this damn game already. Teal and the Back to the Future
I,
jerseys.
ah,
Drop, my friend. Go ahead, try to beat me. Let's see.
I'm gonna take the Seattle Supersonics red jersey.
You knew that was my next. You knew that was my next
I
pick.
know. I was gonna
My
hold that.
favorite jersey.
I was gonna hold that for later, but like obviously you screwed me twice already, so I couldn't leave that on the board. I'm overdrafting it, but whatever. And I'm gonna take the Seattle Supersonics old white jerseys, just the ones when they won the championship in 1979.
Just like the Sonics.
Sonics. I love that
No,
jersey. I think it's
not
so
worried about
classic.
that pick. Not worried about that pick, my friend. Although, you know the red Sonic jerseys are my like favorite Seattle sports jerseys of all time, but I was worried
I
about the teal, and I was like, part of me was like, he's not going to pick the Back to the Future Mariners, but then part of me said I have to take him now in case.
So what I was thinking, to be honest with that shit you pulled on me, I was actually gonna go with these. I knew you were gonna take the teal off the board. I knew it. I was worried about it, but I knew it. I was gonna hold the Seattle Mariners Back to the Future for my last pick, thinking that you would just let it fly under the radar.
Yeah, never, my friend. Never.
All right.
I'm going to go with. Gosh, this is tough. Sorry. Um, okay, we have. Hold on. I took the Mariners teal, the Mariners Back to the Future.
How
Gotta
about
take a
the
deep
Matt
breath.
Hasselbeck Seattle Seahawks one?
Yeah,
Can you
those
just
are
take that
awful.
off the board?
I'm gonna take a new team. I'm gonna take the white Kraken jerseys.
Okay, I like that. That's nice. I didn't think about that.
Those are beautiful.
Okay, you get one more. That's a nice one, actually. Good job there.
Okay, the white Kraken jerseys. That's one. And then I'm gonna go with the action green Seahawks.
Okay, man, you're
The color
actually
rush.
you're kind of killing it here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think your draft is much better than mine. All right, I'm gonna go with just. I mean, I have. This is like. This is
Desperation move.
no. I mean, in general, this is right now a point of emphasis here is to be, inclusive to all teams. I need to have a Mariners jersey here, so I'm just gonna take the standard old Seattle Mariners white jerseys. I still think they're one of the best jerseys in baseball.
They're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, Mariners white, and I get one more pick. God, you killed me here. Seattle Sonics red jersey, Seattle Sonics white jerseys. Let's go with. Let's go Washington Huskies purple football jerseys.
Those are so trash.
I
They're so standard. I love the Huskies colors.
Me too.
Dude.
I know.
So
See, here's the
standard.
reason there's a reason I did that. At the end of the day, if I'm going to win this draft on the social media circuit, I can't beat your teal in the Back to the Future. It's just not possible. It's not going to happen. I can't beat you there, right? So what I had to do is try to get every single team on there, minus the Kraken because you took their best jersey. So I'm trying to go with at least maybe I'll appease some Husky fans and get some votes.
Maybe we'll
Maybe
find out.
that's the only reason.
Because I'm gonna recap your list. I'll recap mine before I
Yeah,
give my
you
last
still have
pick.
one more. Oh, okay.
The recap yours.
Seahawks blue jerseys, old ones, retro.
Old one, 90s.
Seattle Sonics red jerseys.
Okay, great pick.
Seattle Sonics white, old the ones that just say Sonics.
Okay.
The Mariners white jerseys. And the purple Huskies jerseys.
Just the purple. What is a purple Husky jersey, by the way? Just a jersey with the W on it?
Yeah. I was talking about the whole combination of both the helmet and everything.
I have, and I'll give my last pick, but I have the Seattle Mariner teal, the Seattle Mariner Back to the Future,
A++.
the white Kraken with the giant S, what was the last one I just took?
The Color Rush Seahawks.
The Color Rush Seahawks, and I'll take the NBA Finals green Sonic jersey with the circle and the basketball instead of the maroon ones. So pretty much I covered
All right,
of course.
I'm out of this podcast. See you later, guys. I got my ass kicked.
And I'll go specifically Gary Payton or Sean Kemp green
Okay, all right.
Sonics jersey.
That killed it. That just I got my ass kicked there.
Yeah, we'll put that one on a TikTok, Instagram, and see. Just George, I know you chop these up for us. I'll just let you know now. Chop it up. Just me saying each jersey, you saying each jersey. Bam, clip. Let's see who wins. Probably me.
Well, if we're gonna do that, once again, let's recap it real quick here. I went Seahawks blue retro, Seattle Sonics red jersey, Seattle Sonics white 80s jerseys, the Mariners white jerseys, and the purple Huskies jerseys. The whole combination with the gold helmets.
Okay. Sorry for the podcast listeners, but we're doing this for just to make sure this is clear.
Yeah, because there's no other way I could cut this shit out, Sammy.
Okay. I'm gonna try to remember this time. I tried last time and I couldn't get it. Goddamn it. Okay. Mariners teal. Mariners Back to the Future sleeveless Nelson Cruz style. Cool. Then we had the Seahawks color rush jerseys, the Kraken white with the giant S in teal, and the classic Sonics NBA Finals green with the big Sonic and the swirl thing.
You win.
Yeah, there's no way one human being on a social media post is like, I'm going with George's list.
Yeah, people are gonna fucking hate my list.
Yeah.
All right.
You had a good pick with the Sonics one, but I think I just killed you with the teal Back to the Future.
Yeah, well, because I like I told you, I've said it multiple times. I'm gonna say it one more time. I was holding the Back to the Future in my back pocket.
You didn't think it was gonna. And if for some reason, by the way, you're a Seattle sports fans listening to this, make sure you Google Back to the Future Mariners. If you have not, for some reason, there's some Mariners fans that are probably like, which one are those again?
Yeah, but oh my
when
god.
When Felix wore them with the red sleeves. I don't know if you can see it on my
Or when
camera here.
Griffey wear them with no sleeves underneath and his muscles were just popping out.
So did Nelson Cruz.
I
Remember
know.
Nelson Cruz looked like this?
Yeah, it's hard to see on the, but yeah, I know. Yeah.
Buff, sleeveless. They should actually wear those more often with the silver helmet. Come on.
Oh my god.
I need to buy one of those.
I know. I was thinking the same thing right now.
Only problem, I'm not much of a sleeveless shirt guy, but that's
but
another story
good.
for another day.
That's another. Yeah. Should we talk about that? No, I'm kidding.
No. Should we talk about
right.
my sleeve preferences? Next question.
All right. Next question, Sammy. All right. So the Seahawks obviously lost the game. We all know that. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably know the Seahawks lost the game. But there were a couple questionable calls during the Seattle Seahawks loss to the Raiders, including DK Metcalf going with a catch that should have been a catch, but he kind of bobbled at the end. And my least favorite one, in the red zone near the goal line, a fumble that was called forward progress, and the Raiders ended up with the ball and got the game-tying touchdown.
And he wasn't going for
it. So my question to you is, Sammy, how much blame do you usually put on referees, and how much blame do you put on the referees in general for this Seahawks loss?
Well, the DK Metcalf one, I understand. And I still think it should have been called a catch.
Yep.
Personally. But I understand. There was a slight, you can maybe see the ball bobble in his hand for like a half a second. Do I think there was enough amount of, what do they call it, conclusive evidence to overturn it? Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. And that's where my problem was too.
Yeah, like there's no way you can look at that and be like, I'm 100% sure we should overturn this. So I didn't like that. And DK obviously didn't. The Seahawks posted something, 11 catches for DK Metcalf, and he tweeted it with the frog sipping tea emoji and said 12 catches because it should have been. And it was a turning point of the game. So
huge turning point in the game. Like, who are we kidding?
Yeah, that was a big deal. And then the Josh Jacobs was even a bigger deal. Josh Jacobs, after the 2 plays after that fumble that got called back, they scored a touchdown to tie the game.
And no disrespect to him. I mean, he had a hell of a game. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but still, fuck him. Like that was a fumble.
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah.
It was a fumble. He fumbled the ball, and they called forward progress on the field, which means you can't review it technically anymore. It can't change the call. And now this is where the big problem comes. Number one, the Seahawks win that game if they change that call. They get the ball back. The Raiders, there is a chance the Raiders win, obviously, but it's way less likely. If they didn't tie the game right there. Seahawks get the ball back, momentum change. But this is where my biggest issue comes. My biggest confusion, and they do a good job or a better job at this in soccer, for example, right? They call a lot of offsides. They check VR, figure it out. They don't worry about everything else happening in the play. The problem with NFL that really bothers me sometimes is you mentioned this example. Like you could have a fumble being reviewed. The refs can see that like a face mask was ripped off of someone's face, but they can't call the face mask and the other team still gets the ball. Or for this example, oh, it's not forward progress and he clearly fumbled. Oh, but we called it forward progress on the field. Okay. You could have called it a fucking touchdown on the field. I don't care what you called it. Watch why you're reviewing it.
I think the point is to get it right, right? I mean, at the end of the day, and sometimes you just don't get it right because, we called on the field. And I think that's where my problem is. I am never blamed the refs guy ever under almost any circumstance. But I do want to say, I actually think we win that game if they made the correct call. And usually I'm not the type of guy who would say that, right? I'm always like, you still had a chance to win. But I actually think that would have ended the game. That fumble would have ended the game. And I think we would have actually won the football game. Now, then again, they might have got the ball back, scored in forced overtime, and done that. But in general, I actually think we won the game if we got to stop the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had a chance to win the game. Don't get me wrong. Still, but that's about as outside of like a game-winning touchdown, let's say, right? Like a final second missed call. That's about the next closest thing to impacting a game very, very much is a team's down 7 in the red zone. The other team gets the ball. They're about to close out the game if they get the ball back, and obviously momentum changes. But then they get to keep the ball and score a touchdown, and you're going to overtime. It's about as much as possible effect you can put on a game as possible. So
absolutely.
Now, I want to go to your question and also say one more thing. Your question is how like when's the appropriate time to put blame on a ref, or like, what should we do about these rules? One, we should forget about what we called on the field unless it's one of those scenarios where like it's like the DK one. This is a good example, George. The DK one is a great example of why you do care about the call on the field, because the call on the field was right. Now you got to try to find a way to see if it's wrong, right? But you should also do it the opposite way. When the call is wrong on the field, there should be review to see if it was right or wrong. You know what? Like you can only change. It's weird. Like because they called it a catch for DK, they get to review this play, blah, 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 right? And they can change it. But for some reason, a catch can be reviewed, but a forward progress can't. It's just weird that like they have these different specific things that can be reviewed or not reviewed.
It's almost, it feels like almost for no reason, actually. Like what makes a forward progress more important to not review than a catch? Now, here's my only thing. Like, let's just say the players on the field stopped, right? Because they thought it was forward progress. Everyone stopped, and then he fumbled, and then no one's trying to recover. And one guy picked it up. Okay, but everyone's still playing. No one stopped. They didn't. Yeah. Even the players didn't think it was forward progress.
Dude, he wasn't going forward.
I know.
He was it was middle of a tackle, and he was fumbling. Like that's where I don't understand. It's like you can't sit here and tell me that we can review a DK Metcalf. The ball might have twisted half of a degree in his hand while he was falling. No catch. And then it's like, oh, yeah, he clearly fumbled. Yeah, but one ref randomly said forward progress. And like, oh, whoa, he said forward progress.
Yeah, we have to stop now. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I don't think there's no way, a reasonable human being other than the guys making the rules could say otherwise.
Mr. Roger, Mr. Goodell.
Hey, Mr. Goodell, are you listening?
Yeah, probably not. The other thing, just to add to that game before we move on, is because it'll kind of parlay us into the next question.
All right, I like that.
We have to still fix all those problems because at the end of the day, we did score 34 points. I believe it was. Was it 34?
34.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't want to sit here and make it sound like we're saying we lost because of the refs, because we did give up a lot of points. The defense was bad for a lot of the game, and Josh Jacobs had 300 total yards on us. The point more is, as much as we had a lot of things to improve, the refs played a really big role, and that just seems unfair how much of a role they played in the decision-making, despite the problems we had on defense and despite the glaring issues that we had giving up 300 yards to Josh Jacobs. So I want to kind of preface that, because it's not like I'm saying we played perfect and the ref screwed us. I'm saying that it sucks that the ref took a game that, even though we didn't play good enough, we still had a chance to win because we're a good football team. But like that chance was kind of taken away because of the ref. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
But play good defense, because the Raiders were a bad team, and so are the Rams. And if we lose to the Rams
on the road, at home,
that's on the road.
It's on at home on the road because Rams,
No
their
fans.
fans aren't showing up. Yeah, this is gonna be mostly Seahawk fans in LA. We already know that.
Be.
So speaking of Seahawks and LA fans, question for you to wrap up this podcast, Sammy. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your concern level for the Seahawks versus the Rams?
Okay, I have two answers, George, because I love to complicate these answers. My concern's like a 8 or 9 for the situation. My concern playing the Rams in general is like a 4. Because the Rams are missing Cooper Kupp, obviously. They're missing Aaron Donald for his first career game missed due to injury, and Matt Stafford's not playing. We have no excuse not to beat the Rams team, wherever it is. It's not like we're going to Green Bay, some weather things. We're going to LA. It's in an indoor stadium.
It's not a hostile environment, right?
Like not just that. I'm talking about like also like the
elements.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Because like we're not just talking about hostile environments. Yeah, I mean, like if we were going to Chicago and there's nobody in the stands, but it's snowing, it'd still be a hard game. We're talking just about no fan base and a closed stadium, sunny weather. It's gonna be 70 degrees probably in the stadium and outside. Everything's gonna work perfectly fine. But the 8 comes from the fact that if we lose, we're now on a 3-game losing streak. We're 6-6. We're like probably 2 spots out of the playoffs. We're 2 spots out of the division, maybe 2 or 3 spots out of the wild card, given the situation on what depends. Like our whole season, 7-5 is so much different than 6-6. I know it sounds one game, but like 7-5 versus 6-6 in the playoff race is like
completely different,
miles apart.
Yeah, and it's a good way to parlay. That's why
the 8.
Okay,
8.
So I would say my concern level would become an 8 or 9 if we lose the game about the situation. But heading into this game,
I have a question before you finish.
Yeah.
Are we saying your concern level on the Seahawks or of the game?
Of the game of the Rams. But you gave me both answers. You gave me a 4. Yeah. So in general, my concern level is with you on the game. It's a 4. My only concern is, can we make a bad offense look good with this defense? Because, I mean, we have been so crappy on defense at times this year. I mean, at times we've looked so good. We even look good against Tampa, but a lot of people are looking good against Tampa. We've made strides to get better throughout the season, but then we took a huge step back against the Raiders. So my concern level is only a 4, but it could about this game. But I'm with you. If they lose this game, my concern level on the season is 8 or 9, because 6-6 is way different than 7-5. So almost the same answer as you.
Yeah, like the situation's way more concerning than the actual game. But that's because I don't know if what we're seeing is the reality now, or if that's just like 2 bad games, right? Like, or if that was just, we went to Germany, we had a bad first half, then a good second half. And then we went back to home to Seattle. We had some ref issues. They played good some parts. They played bad some parts. So it's like, I didn't really get to this point yet where there should be much concern about the season. But if you lose this game, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, that's a 3-game losing streak. You're 6-6. Like you're like 2-3 games out of the playoffs. Everything changes based on a win or a loss this week, from concern level to playoff chances to divisional chances to expectations, because that'd be 3 straight losses to losing teams, losing records.
Yeah, and not just that. And my thing is, we headed into this game, we headed into this season, we're thinking that, an NFC playoff berth at a wild card could be at 9-8. It looks like it might be a lot closer to 10-7. A lot of these teams are playing a lot better. It's top heavy. You're saying about the NFC?
I said the NFC East. They have like
all right now. If it all ended today, all 4 NFC East teams would be in the playoffs.
That's insane.
So we thought it was going to be a different NFC this year, but it's been a lot better. But then all of a sudden, you know what fixes that? Playing the Panthers and the Rams in back-to-back weeks before you play the 49ers. Because all of a sudden, right now, we're 6-5. We could head into that 49ers game at 8-5, realistically.
Which would be huge, because it's not just the 49ers game, and then it's the Chiefs after that as well, right?
Right. Then, well, yeah. I don't want to think about bad times.
Yeah, we got to win some games here, and it's really weird. I feel like we've won some good games this year, but we've also lost to teams like the Saints, Falcons, Raiders. So it's like it's time to just go into one of these games. They have no starting quarterback. They don't have the best receiver in the NFL. They don't have the best defensive player in the NFL. They're all out. go win.
Go,
that's
that's the best way to put it, Sammy. Just go win this game.
Just go
Like,
win.
let's not fuck around here.
and it sounds stupid, right? But it's like some games it's not like as simple as go win because it's like even fucking 49ers. They're so good, right? But this Rams team sucks this year, and all their best players are also out on top of the sucking. So it's like just go in. Like there should be no drama, no controversy, no issues here. It should be a win. That's
Just do it, baby.
Just do it. Hashtag Nike. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll be back, guys. Back and better than ever. Every single episode. We got to head out. But it's all love. And we'll be back more often, hopefully, here, especially over the holidays. We'll be talking a lot of football, probably. And hopefully the Mariners make some big signings, some exciting things like that. So I'm sure we'll be back more often.
Perfect, man.
It's all love. We appreciate y'all. And George, you know what we like to say.
Thank you for stopping by.
Peace.